Hey, your behind got shadow.
A shadow? Is that a person? Welcome to FPL Potato Me, where we talk about Fantasy Premier League. I am Mushroom Head Potato. This
I'm
is.
Hokkien me.
All right. So before we started the stream, Uncle Hokkien Me was already complaining about his game week. So why don't we jump right into that? About your game week. I'm gonna put this on on the full screen mode. There we go. All right. So you had a total of 36 points. Obviously, you are very unhappy about it. Can you talk to us? Tell us about it.
What can I do? I make the transfer of Rashford to Martin. If I don't use Rashford, I use Saka to Martin, and I will have a better point. And if I don't transfer Bailey so fast, Bailey also will have more points than Da Silva. Or is I make the transfer like 1 week earlier. Too
Uh,
fast. If I don't too
too
fast, I at least
fast.
will have 10 points extra.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people jumped off Rashford. I think there were like 4 players in our league. Only one person persisted with Rashford in our league, and he reaped the rewards.
But no
Yeah,
choice lah. We prevent for value drop ma, so we do the transfer.
we are a bit we were obsessed with the value. I think I've gotten over it. This is again. This is my second full. Actually, this is my first full season playing FPL. So this is
Lah,
my first.
second lah.
No, last season, first 9 weeks was not really playing, man. First 9 weeks,
That's your
first full
problem
season
lah.
of.
You're not really playing, but you are into full season what.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, like my first full season doing it properly, yeah. And so last season I didn't have the early season price change dilemma, and so this was my first. I realized this is my first season dealing with it, right? And we can talk about how I made mistakes there. But similarly, so you moved out Rashford. Shall we talk about that game, Liverpool versus Man United? So
Yep,
you
yep,
changed
yep.
your prediction and you went with a 2-0. That was your sort of maverick prediction. Rashford with 2 goals. This is after you transferred Rashford out, of course.
Yeah,
So
I
tell
keep
us
telling
about.
you, Rashford gonna score 2 goals already.
But
He
this is
score one.
after you transferred it out. This is after you transferred. Okay. So can you talk us through that? Tell us about why you had that maverick prediction. And I, hold my hands up. I was like, there's no way,
No
man.
lah. Actually, I also a bit talking cock. I just telling you, what keep telling you what if Man U 2-0. Every whole world predict them to gonna trash. Predict they losing. Predict they
I
cannot
mean, the
win.
whole
Most,
most people.
most, and most is draw only. In the end, they
Mm-hmm.
win.
So yeah, tell us about that. What were you
Because
watched the
you know
game? I
why?
watched the
They
game.
don't have three fucker in the team.
Okay, tell us about these
They don't have
particular
Maguire. They don't have
fuckers.
Shaw. They don't have Ronaldo.
What how did that
And
pay a
and
difference?
four
What do you
four
think?
fucker. And they don't have Fred.
Casemiro, in his statement about signing for Man United, says he's very, very happy to be reunited with Fred. He loves playing with Fred. He was very keen to emphasize Fred's quality. It was quite interesting. But yeah, I mean, in terms of FPL, do you think Rashford is an option again? Something you might revisit in the future?
Sell him. Well, how? Future. Future then talk lor. Sell him already. Now I don't want to think about him.
Anything else that interested you? So obviously you have 3 Liverpool
But those
assets.
that never sell him, that
Uh-huh.
have him, should not sell first because next game versus Southampton.
Yeah, that's a good game. Southampton away.
After that versus Arsenal at home.
Yeah.
And
I
versus
mean,
Arsenal at home,
that would be tricky.
is they are. I think they are going to play the same strategy as they're going to play versus Liverpool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. More of a counter
And the
system.
partner should be the partnership should be Varane and Martinez again because Arsenal
Martinelli,
all shot.
yes. Martinez. You're confusing.
Martinez so all shot now. All their players still shot now. So got Rashford, don't sell. sell first. Keep for 2 more weeks.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's just about the height. I mean, like Ten Hag did. I mean, some people are talking about how it was like going back to a Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kind of counter
No
style.
lah, a lot better lah. Ole is park the bus, then just long ball counter only.
Yeah, because
These two goal, where got park the bus and long go,
yeah.
long
I mean,
ball counter.
especially that first goal, we could really see some unprecedented.
Actually,
teamwork,
second goal
some
lucky
team
lah.
play.
Referee already say referee is offside, but because of the now got the marginal margin, the error, the
marginal
penalty
decision.
of doubt. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a new offside
So
rule
you got
where
the 4 cm, 5 cm advantage.
I think that was less than 4 or 5 centimeters. I think that was more like 1 to 3 centimeters. But so
I still feel it's this thing this VAR is a fucking rubbish thing.
Okay, but before you complain about VAR, just so that we explain this new marginal decision. So in this new decision, I think it was implemented last season. The attacker gets the benefit of the doubt when there are 50-50 calls. So in this, the Rashford onside offside decision, it was very, very close. And so he was given the benefit of the doubt. If this was in a 2020-21 season, it would have been considered offside. So that's there. How about
actually they just want make the game more exciting, so they give the benefit of doubt to attacker, so they will have more goal. Because if you give the benefit of doubt to defender, then the attacker are harder to score goal. Then the game will be more boring, a bit offside, a bit offside.
Sure. I mean, and before VAR, these kinds of goals probably would have been given. Anyhow, but
I still feel it's rubbish, because if you want VAR, most important is to help the referee manage the game better, or like some unseen incident, or like World Cup that time, already the ball crossed the line or whatever, then they still don't allow the goal, the referee never see. This time you VAR come in, you got technology come in, you help the game, is make it more fair. But you use it on really emphasizing on offside lah. All these, I find it's like, then you whole game only referee law. You everything VAR can referee just blow whistle, wait for VAR only law.
I mean, offside's a bit different. Referees can't be in charge of offside. That's what I think. I mean, that's about the linesman. Right?
That's why. Then you just offside. Then you just do the offside properly lah.
But that was always an issue, because linesmen sometimes are not fast enough, or etc.
Yeah, then you use, then you need to give benefit doubt or what? You offside means you offside. Why still need a benefit of doubt of 5 cm?
I don't know. I mean, this is something for you to take up.
The only reason I think of is because they want to make it.
I mean, this is something for you to take up with.
For the defender, for the attacker to score. So have benefit of doubt, then attacker easier to score. Easier to score, game more exciting.
I mean, that's an endless debate, lah. VAR. Let's move. How about so going back to FPL? We can talk about Man United assets when we look at our team, because I was actually considering someone, a defender. We'll talk about that later. How about Liverpool assets? So you have 2, I have 3.
If you have Salah, then keep Salah lah. If you don't have Salah, then buy DS lah.
Okay, so what? So a lot of people we've seen even in our league, 2 players have, and they're Liverpool fans, they have gotten rid of all their Liverpool assets. One of them on the wild card. I believe it was Peck and Jason. Yeah, they got rid of all their Liverpool assets.
Jason is Man U fan eh.
Oh, Jason's a Man U fan. Regardless of which, there are 2 players. But tell us about
it. Still got Arnold and Peck 3 Arnold, Salah and DS.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Okay, well, I'll look for the team and I'll tell you. So
Steven is where got Steven
DS Elson has gotten rid of all his Liverpool players, so it's the 2 wrong players. But basically, Elson got rid of all.
Elson really get rid of
all his Liverpool players, which is significant, right? It's a surprising move.
Don't sell Liverpool will come back one lah. Now they a bit dummy only.
So you're saying you have Salah keep? I agree. How about TAA and Robertson? I mean, I'm keeping TAA.
Robertson dropped in price, yeah. Robertson dropped to 6.9.
Yeah. A lot of people are selling Robertson. And it seems when we get to your bus team, we can talk about that too.
Good lah. A lot of people sell good lah. Sell. I keep.
But what do you think about Liverpool's sort of performance going forward? Is there anything to worry? What do you think?
Well, I think they will come back on lah. They just now deep in form. You think they will perform also bad, man? A while they come back already lah.
Yeah, I agree.
But I surprised
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Van Dijk versus Man U, he become like an idiot lah.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to
The
be.
Sancho that goal, I really don't know what the fuck he doing. I am very surprised about the way he defend versus Sancho that one. Sancho first goal.
So a lot of people have talked about this. It's almost as if he doesn't want to make
possess my Maguire like that, yeah.
So what a lot of people are talking about. So there's really interesting analysis from James from Planet FPL where he talked about how it almost seems like Van Dijk wants to keep his stat of not getting dribbled past. So he doesn't make the tackle. He just stands there. Which is an interesting observation. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it was
really stand there like an idiot. He stand there try to use. I don't know. Like if common sense proper training EPL is people gonna show you're gonna rush. Even you don't tackle, you're gonna rush in front, block his view, correct? Or block his view. Even you don't slide, you block his view. You try to pressure him. You go closer to him. Where got stand at a distance and try to goalkeeper use body to block but no hand a bit. I'm very surprised the way he do it. That's why Miller fuck him.
Oh yeah, that was quite an exchange between James Milner and Van Dijk.
That one really, what the fuck you doing, But I'm very surprised the way he defend But after that, but he is a good defender, hard to dribble pass. But I'm very surprised the way he defend versus Sancho that one. Really, maximum,
I mean, hence people's comments are it's almost as if he doesn't want to make the tackle. If he doesn't feel confident, then he just holds back or something. At least this season he seems a bit tentative, and that might be because of the injuries, right? He hasn't played with Gomez in a long time. Matip is injured. Koundé is injured. He didn't have Fabinho.
He play with who also can Cornet, Matip, Gomez, all these players. Don't know lah. He hasn't. Good lah. He continue defend like that
He hasn't started with Gomez since. There's some surprising stat. He hasn't started with Gomez since like 2019, 2018 or something. Long time since they played together. Long time.
Don't talk about Liverpool. Let's go to our team. That match finished.
So you finished with 36 points. And you took a -4. So you regretted taking Rashford out, Bailey out, but you
no choice lah. You say regret, actually also not regret. Really?
Yeah, I mean you were trying to prevent the price changes.
Price change, all these. Then just happened that when I transfer out, they perform. Then I transfer in, one never perform. What to do?
Sure. So I wanted to ask you about your decision to bring in De Bruyne. So you brought in De Bruyne. He returned with 5 points. Probably could have gotten a goal as well. He was quite close.
Who do I bring in?
Kevin De Bruyne, KDB.
That's last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I'm talking about I'm talking about your decision from the previous week to bring him in. Do you feel vindicated? Do you think that was a right decision?
I didn't bring him in previous week. I bring him previous to the second. I bring him in the second week.
Sure, the week before. So that's my, that's my question for you. Do you think that has been a good decision so far?
Confirm good lah.
Because not many people have KDB, right? It's either they
confirm good lah, better than Salah lah. I don't want to have Salah.
So you think that so far your anti Salah strategy is working out?
Anti him. I think I'm feeling more and more confident. I'm not going to have Salah. I will have DS, but I won't have Salah.
That game 3-3.
I'm going to keep him out for the whole season, I think.
For the whole season. Well, strong words. Let's see. I mean,
unless KDB.
I agree. Sure. But I think you're right. He's a really, really good option, especially when Man City go into that 2-3-5 shape. He's looking very,
because
very
for Haaland keep playing there. I want to have KDB. He got a lot of assistance.
So that was really exciting. 3-3. How about your other pick? I mean, which you made last week, Josh Da Silva. You went from Bailey to Da Silva.
I kept correct. I did. I feel I choose the captain really correct. It's just the rest of the player fail me only.
Oh, as in your captaincy choice for Haaland.
I
Yeah, you're
kept really
unlucky.
correct.
I think.
My prediction last week, I say the way they defend everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Newcastle went for it 3-3. I think you and Jesus captain people who captain Jesus and Haaland were very unlucky, and those of us who captain Salah were just very lucky.
The one is ping pong goal, no choice.
But how about your choice to bring in Josh Da Silva? What did you make of that moving forward?
No choice. When I never bring him, he two match he score goal. I bring him in, he never score goal. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do?
I mean, just so you know, and other Da
my
Silva.
thumb. But he was score soon one lah. He starter. You tell me the first match he never start, whatever, haven't get fitness. He starter.
So that's what I wanted to touch upon. He probably will start the next game again against Everton. But Brentford fans are uncertain if he will start like in the midterm because Damsgaard is coming back. I think he started in the EFL, the League Cup game.
So that's something to never start selling.
Yeah. Sure. So that's something to keep an eye on. That's what I'm saying. To keep an eye on. And then what about your decision to start? Your decision to start Nico Williams over Andreas Pereira. Andreas came in with a return of 8 points versus a 1 pointer from Nico Williams.
Hello, who know Everton really score goal, that one goal.
3 minutes from the end. That was.
It's not my Nico Williams got clean sheet one, no. It's just also unlucky, 3 minutes score.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest switched off, but it does seem like Nottingham Forest will be a team to target in terms of to attacker. Their defense is not the
cheap
strongest.
Player lor, target their cheap player.
Not the strongest. Anyhow, let's move to my team.
For me, I just treat it as this week I'm really unlucky. All my defense 1 point is 0 point. What to do?
1 point, 0 point.
Yeah. What to do? But Brighton really starting very good. 3 game win, 3 match. 3 game they win 2, draw 1.
Yeah, we can talk about Brighton later, but let's go to my team here. What do I have to stream? All right. So
you are lucky only lah. Your Salah give you extra. How many points?
So I finished
Salah
with
4 is 5 extra 10 points. You thought you 38 only.
So I
Someone
finished.
Still got bonus point, right? 10 plus 1 plus 1 bonus point, 12 point.
Uncle,
12 point. If not, you same as me, 36.
Uncle Hokkien me.
Yes.
Can I just read out the points? So I finished with 48 points. I took a -4 and ended with 44. Yes. You were jealous.
Yeah, 44. If not, you only have 32.
Sure. I mean, but like Salah being Salah, it's one of those things, right? He gets one chance. It was like in the Charity Shield as well. It's the same thing. He gets one chance and that's it. The goal goes in, right? But I completely concede. Salah owners were very, very lucky this week, including myself. Jesus and Haaland owners are very, very unlucky because Haaland could have got like 2 goals and assists or even a hat trick. Jesus could have easily got 2 goals and assists as well. So, or even 3 goals. So just unlucky, really unlucky.
Actually, yeah.
So both of us had Brentford's keeper Raya with a 1 pointer. So Fulham won 3-2 that game. So I'm keeping faith with David Raya. Moving forward, I don't see any point in transferring out the keeper. But one interesting thing about Brentford to keep note of, we're talking about Da Silva as well, is they keep changing between formations, between 3-5-2 and 4-3-3, 3-5-2 and 4-3-3. So Brentford. So this is something to keep an eye out if we were to decide to bring in Ivan Toney, because he has a lot of chances when he's playing 4-3-3, but when he switches to 3-5-2, then he kind of comes in deep like how Kane used to. But I don't know, something to keep an eye on. In my case, I made the mistake of starting Nico Williams over Kieran Trippier. This is something I need to learn, that when possible, just start Trippier. Because, that free kick, you saw the free kick, right?
Yep.
that he scored against
good,
Man City. I mean, he also just assisted in the League Cup from a corner, so he's on all set pieces. FML, FPL, I had a sort of a question for them last week when I was deciding between Andreas Pereira or Kieran Trippier, and they made a good point. Kieran Trippier plays for the bigger team, and he's Pereira's also on set pieces, Trippier also on set pieces, but Newcastle is the team with the bigger threat, and especially now, I don't know whether you saw the news, but Callum Wilson, as predicted, is now out with a hamstring injury, 6 weeks out. So Newcastle,
again.
it's forever injury lah. I mean, some people were talking about how maybe he could be a outside pick for the England squad, but then with his injury record, very difficult. So now they are going to play. So we've talked about how Newcastle owners have been like, oh, playing it slow and steady, right? But I think they're sort of like, okay, we want to make it to Europe this season. So they're going to spend £60 million on Alexander Isak from Real Sociedad. He's one of the top talents.
I read the news.
Yeah, he's one of the top talents in Europe in terms of forwards. So that is something to really keep an eye out. If he ends up coming in Newcastle, that's gonna be something else, man. Newcastle.
But like you say, what? Buy Tony. I'd rather buy Mitrovic than buy Tony.
So we can talk about that when we go to our bus teams. Why I was considering Tony. But for now. For now, let me just go through my team. So similar to you, and a lot of people with the template team, defenders all return with either 0 or 1 points. In midfield, I decided to start Andreas Pereira because from the last 2 games, it just seems like he was going to return because he's on all set pieces. And then, like you said, Mitrovic, great option. He's just somebody's gonna get. Somebody's going to put them away because they have those corner routines. Silva has them all these like special routines on corners and set pieces, and so I think there's really no worry if you need or want to start him, especially Fulham at home. At home, they're very, very dangerous, very, very dangerous. I think so. Yeah. And that's there. So both of us decided to bring in Martinelli. He returned again, but unfortunately Rashford returned more with 10 points against Martinelli's 6. So that's there. Yeah, a lot of regrets what to do. But one big mistake that I made, of course, because I wanted to avoid price changes, I made the crazy move of bringing in Mitoma from Brighton. I probably should have brought in, if anybody, a Solly March, who's also 5 million. But, once again, the blood rushed to the head, and I've never dealt with price changes before. So this week, I'm playing it cool. And before we get to our bus teams, we'll just have a look at how we did in our leagues. I came in 7th, since I had a -4. And unfortunately, you came in last. That's their overall rankings. We're doing okay. Early season stuff, so nothing to panic for now. We have a lot of Mavericks in our league. Especially the SW team. He went with a 3 in the attack. So let's see what happens in the following weeks. But let's go to our bus teams for the week. So Hokkien Mee, you have Raya in goal, home against Everton.
It's not my team, this is your team.
Oh my gosh, I got the wrong teams out here. Oh gosh.
I got Salah, I know it's not my team.
In that case, I made a mistake because the editing suit was down this morning, so I had to rush.
I'm still not going to have Salah. I still recommend is DS with KTV combo is the best.
So you have Raya in goal, have Everton home, Cancelo home to Crystal Palace, TAA home, Bournemouth, Robertson home, Bournemouth, Zinchenko home to Fulham, Da Silva home to Everton, De Bruyne home to Crystal Palace, Rodrigo away at Brighton, Martinelli home to Fulham, Haaland home Crystal, and then Jesus home Fulham, and then you have Andreas as your first sub, Nico Williams as your second, and 4.5 midfielder on your bench. So, You have decided to make a -4 move this week. Can you tell us about that?
I just want to.
Oh, you've made the move already, right? You're not deciding.
Yeah,
You made
yeah,
the
yeah.
move
I
already.
just want to F off Saka only. I want to make
So
my
you've
team.
removed.
I'm considering the yes. Then
Okay. And how much
you know
money did
what?
you have in the bank?
I still have. I now have 2 million.
Because you don't have Salah, so you have like 2 million in the
I
bank.
don't have
So you
I
went
don't have
from
any 8 million mid. So I think I got
okay.
2.7 million now.
So you went from Saka to
Yeah, I got 2.7 million extra now.
because you went from Saka to Rodrigo, and Rodrigo is obviously a lot cheaper. He's at what 6.3 now, 6.4.
Yeah, 6.3.
6.3, and then you went from cash. So you got rid of cash to go to Zinchenko. So talk us
Yes.
through those decisions. So first and foremost, why did you go from
No, because
Saka
I want
to?
to have Zinchenko. Then I cannot have it because I already have 3 Arsenal players, so I must
Okay,
remove Saka.
so the priority was Zinchenko. Why Zinchenko? Why is he such a
I
big
don't
deal?
know. I feel he's like a bonus point, like the bee to flower like that. Bonus point attractor. Every time get bonus point one.
Yeah, he's a bonus point magnet. That's true because he's a
Yeah,
defender and his pass completion rate is very very high. So that's there. So
correct.
that's one thing. Anything else? There are other defenders.
Actually, my
defenders out
problem is Saka. I think very low. Actually, Saka, I want to change to DS.
there. Okay.
But
So why didn't you go to DS?
I don't know why I didn't change Saka to DS. I forget why.
But before we talk about Rodrigo Diaz, I'd like to ask why Zinchenko and not why didn't you go to Walker or Stones at Man City? Oh, you already have 3 Man City players. That's one.
Yeah.
Other 5 mil, you weren't interested in a Gabriel or a Saliba. You preferred
Why
Zinchenko
Gabriel?
over them. I mean, other people have them, so that's why I'm asking you.
No, I just want Zinchenko is a left attacker. Arsenal, the attack all go by left.
Sure, everything's on the left, overloaded.
Wait for Tomiyasu come back, see how long.
Okay. But one thing to watch out for.
Temporarily, I think he will stick his place. He won't be the attorney hard to get his place back.
I think so too. And also, there's the potential of him playing in midfield, which is quite exciting if that ever happens. And you have money in the bank.
I gamble on Rodrigo because by right I think the correct transfer should be Saka to DS .
Saka to DS. So can you tell us? Okay, so you're moving on from Zinchenko for your decision to go from Saka to Rodrigo.
By right should be Saka to DS . But
so why are you just worried about Liverpool's form, or more impressed by Rodrigo's like red hot fire on form?
Yeah, red hot fire. Then I put him first because this week he versus Brighton away, they may lose, but Rodrigo may score.
I don't.
Then next game,
I think there's a higher chance of I don't know whether if Rodrigo will score this week, man. Brighton's of all the managers, right? I mean, Jesse Marsh has been very impressive, and it was a very, very most impressive performance against Chelsea. They beat Chelsea 3-0, obviously. But of all managers, right, Graham Potter, like his system is also very impressive, and I can really see them like sort of nulling each other out. So it can be like a 0-0 or a very low scoring game, 1-1 kind of thing. But you're right, like if it's 1-1, there might be Rodrigo scoring since he's on such.
Then next game, Leeds versus Everton, home.
Yeah, that's a really good fixture. Really, really good fixture.
Yeah, I think that you think for me thinking is I buy DS now and buy Rodrigo now. Yes, this week Liverpool may be good versus Portsmouth. Maybe DS can get 2 goals or even 1 goal, 1 assist. But next week, Liverpool versus the G-Week 5 Liverpool versus Newcastle. I want Rodrigo. I just gamble . It's a gamble so I don't need to say next week I G-Week 5 I can don't do transfer at all.
It's punt. Yeah. That's I hear you. I mean, so that's there. I hear you. Let's go to my team and we can talk about strategies and things like that.
Actually, the proper way should be this week transfer to DS. Next week you can sell DS, then back to Rodrigo.
There's a lot of transfers though. So here's my team. So I have spring rolls because I'm gonna roll my transfers. Maybe rolls. Those are not popia. Those are Vietnamese spring roll. I'm feeling hungry.
You go to Cap Salah. Oh yeah, go to Cap Salah. Good luck.
So I have Raya in goal for the game at home against Everton. I also have TAA, Cancelo, Robertson, and then I have Kieran Trippier away at Wolves. I'm going to start Andreas Pereira away at Arsenal. I'm not too sure about that one, but we can talk about that. And then Martinelli at home to Fulham, Salah at home to Bournemouth, Saka at home to Fulham, and then an attack I have Haaland home to Crystal Palace and Jesus home to Fulham. So I'm undecided about captaincy actually. So we can talk about that. But first, let's talk about transfers.
For me, I see like my team compared to your team, right? What? 2 to 3 weeks later, if Liverpool still not backing up, Robertson, I maybe going to change to Trippier already.
Yeah, they have a bunch of nice fixtures coming up later.
Newcastle. And I have four different defenders from 4 major clubs, so okay lah.
And also, like I was saying before, if Alexander Isak comes in, Newcastle will be like from uncertain about top 6.
Isak very top man, very top talent man.
Yeah, he's one of the top striking talents in Europe, man. That is like a whole other level of signing for Newcastle if they get him in. Whole other level. Whole other level. I think that pushes them. I mean, at first it was like uncertain.
Hey, Mitoma still bench -4 from last week until now still bench Mitoma, I thought you last week say until got Dragon, say this week you're going to play him.
Okay. So let's talk about that's
players that have decided. Talk about Mitoma first. I want to laugh at your Mitoma. I thought last week you keep saying this week you're playing him.
So I'm decided. Like I was deciding between either to start Mitoma or Pereira. And like I said, I held my hands up just now when we talked about teams from last week. That was
you say sorry because you make a stupid mistake and I laugh at you. Then you keep arguing. You better apologize. For last week I laughed until now. Then you want to defend yourself. You say no. I plan for the next week because next week I want to buy. I want to feel him. But now I see your team. You put him on bench again. Last week you -4. You keep making this kind of stupid mistake.
When I was talking about my team from last week, I held my hands up and said that was a mistake. How many times did I repeat myself?
Last week he argued, no, I plan.
Last week my explanation was that okay, whatever, I'll bring in somebody else. I wanted to protect my value, and that was there. And the point still stands that I was looking to protect my value. That was the point, right?
In the end, that was the basic point.
Yeah, I'll let you have that joy.
Well, it's not fair. People make stupid mistakes but can have higher point than me.
I'll let you have that. I'll let you have the joy of that. So, instead of harping on this silly mistake I made, I'd like to talk about potential transfers that I was thinking about, but I'm unsure about making and whether to roll or not. So rather than rolling, another move that I was thinking about making was going from Robertson to a 4.4. And there are not many 4.4s around. It will be Malacia or Dallo at Man United. And then to upgrade Archer, my 4.5 attacker, to Ivan Toney. Because Ivan Toney's playing Everton at home this week. So that was the other option, to take a -4 and to get rid of Robertson, bring in Man United looks better now, bring in one of the 4.4s. But the priority is to have Toney. And why is it Toney over Mitrovic? So this is the explanation. So the next 3 games, Brentford has really, really good fixtures. And Fulham's fixtures change at about game week 9. So then I'll go from Toney to Mitrovic. This is sort of like a strategy that a lot of people are looking at as well. So that's there. So that's, if I were to do that is a plan. But because game week 4 to game week 7 especially, Brentford has amazing fixtures. Home, Everton. Game week 5 a bit trickier, away at Crystal Palace, but then afterwards it's home to Leeds, and then game week 7 away at Southampton. Not amazing, but pretty good, right? And Tony's on form, obviously. However, I'm really uncertain for two reasons, right? First reason, Liverpool is playing Bournemouth. They have the highest odds amongst all bookies for a clean sheet, so that's there. So that's why I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll just keep Robertson. Secondly, next week, game week 5, is going to be a midweek game. So there's the potential for a lot of rotation and things like that. So it's good to have 2 free transfers to sort of navigate any big changes around or whatever, or if there are injuries or things like that. And also, thirdly, I don't know if Brentford were to play 3-5-2 instead of 4-3-3, Tony might be a lot more withdrawn and not have as many returns as before. So that's there. And against Everton, I think looking at the way Everton's been playing, they're just like, they're gonna sit deep. They're not playing 3-5-2, they're playing more like 5-3-2. They're really all 5 defenders at the back, just defending on. So what's your opinion? Okay, me, what do you think about that? Should I roll because of those 3 big reasons that I listed, or do you think I should go for it, take a -4, bring in Ivan Toney, and bring in a Man United 4.4 defender? What do you think? Hence the question marks over the spring rolls.
You can no need lah. I think your team is good lah, but your Saka can change your Saka lah, not Tony or not whatever. Saka change to a 6 million, 7 million.
I wouldn't change Saka this week because, right? So there are 2 reasons why I'm not too concerned about Saka. I'm more enticed by bringing Tony because I can change the structure, and then that gives me a pathway to Mitrovic come game week 9 lah. And the other reason why I'm less interested in moving Saka this week is because, for 2 reasons. First, Fulham has been conceding attacks primarily down the left. So that means Saka's on the right. So they've conceded 3 chances on their right, 7 chances in the middle, and 10 chances on the left, which is where Saka is. So that's there. And
I don't. This statistic only 3 game only. If already 15 game into the league, you tell me this statistic okay lah. 3 game only.
Sure.
Just happen maybe they versus the 3 team they versus. They like to also more strong on the right. They attack on the right lor. Not necessarily means Saka will score or Saka will assist. 3 game only. This one is just very minor, very marginal statistic to me.
Sure, I'll give you that. No question. I mean,
because it's just 3 game. Even if it's 7 game already, 7 game, then you tell me this statistic. Okay, can follow a bit. Only 3 game only.
Sure. I mean, sure. I'm just saying, that these stats are there, and of course,
don't change lah. No point changing also lah. Actually,
it's only 3 games.
But you should play. But I don't think.
So
you never
before we go to your point, the other reason why I'm like okay with Saka is like true, most of attacks for Arsenal are going down the left, both Xhaka and Odegaard left-legged. We're talking about it during the game. They open up their body, pass to the left. That's one thing there. However, there's the other thing whereby Odegaard's second goal, was it his second goal? The shot from that was the first goal. The shot from Martinelli, and then the keeper saved it, and then it went to Odegaard. If the keeper saved it, if he moved it, like he punched it in a different way or his leg hit it another way, right, the ball would have gone to Saka. Saka is in the right position still. Like it would in another dimension, Saka would have scored. Yeah. And we would have been very happy. We would have been happy. So he's getting into positions, so that's there. So that's there. So you would rather I move Saka?
I tell you, Saka is correct lah. Because you want to say statistic, I also can tell you statistic now. 3 week statistic, I also can tell you. Whatever player I sell the next week, he going to perform already. I sell Saka, so Saka going to perform already. You see, I sell Bailey 1 assist. I sell Rashford 1 goal. Alright or not?
Sure, but you do realize this is not limited to you. This is just a golden FPL rule for a lot of people.
No, I sell Bailey assist. I sell Rashford score goal. Then now I sell Saka going to score assist already.
So this is not unique to you.
I also give you statistic. You tell me Fulham the right one. I also tell you the statistic now 100%. I sell 2 players score.
Sure.
Two player,
Well,
one
this is
assist,
not
one
this
score.
is not unique to you. This is a common conundrum in
Statistic
FPL.
So no wrong lah.
Conundrum
Your only the thing is correct. You keep your transfer for the midweek lah for rotation. So can lah.
Yeah. I mean, if it was like another team, like if Arsenal was playing Man United or whatever, but the fact they're playing Arsenal's playing at Fulham at home, so I'm just like, it's like, is there any point to moving?
I only now can say about captain. I only can say about captain.
Okay, so yeah, we're done with transfers. Let's talk about captaincy. You decided to cap Haaland. You're gonna cap Haaland against Crystal
Palace, right? I kept Jesus.
Like I said, the editing suite was down this
I
morning.
kept Jesus.
So yeah, you have Jesus as your captain and Martinelli as your vice captain. That's interesting.
Yes.
Don't you want Haaland or De Bruyne to be your vice captain?
No.
Why is that? So you're all in on Arsenal.
Arsenal will trash Fulham.
They'll trash them, huh? Wow.
3-0.
Okay. After that Bournemouth game, you're very sort of excited by the prospect of Fulham, huh?
Jesus really sharp lah. I tell you, Arsenal good lah. The way they play, Jesus never score. He's just create. He's a second assist like that. He create. Voila, you can see one person dribble past 3 defender.
Yeah,
Jesus is just a lucky never score. Then against Fulham, because they are home.
Mm-hmm.
And Haaland versus Crystal, although they are home, Crystal sure going to play full defense and counter. Crystal, I tell you, standard. Park the bus, counter through Ayew and Zaha only.
They don't really park the bus, man. How Crystal Palace, what they do is they do the high press. Vieira has them very organized. I mean, yeah, it's true that the back line.
But now they versus Man City, I'm predicting again. They not say park the bus. They will be on defense mode. Then they play counter, long ball through Zaha against Zaha, Ayew, like that only.
Yeah, they're very organized. You know, they press very well under Vieira. And yeah,
so
again, like against
will be harder to score.
No. I mean, everybody's in agreement about this, in consensus about this. And also, Crystal Palace is a bogey team for Man City. Man City always have a tough time against Palace.
Yeah, that's why you say that. Listen lah. Then that's why if you compare Haaland and Jesus, of course I kept Jesus lah.
Yeah, so for me, it's between Jesus or Salah. I'm still undecided. I don't know which way to go.
Yeah, lor. Your one is only these two only. Salah or Jesus.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in our league will probably cap. Actually, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be divided this week. It's going to be divided between Jesus and Salah. 50-50. So yeah, I'll sleep on it and see how it goes. I'll sleep on it and see how it goes.
I only hope. I don't care about the captain because it's 50-50. I only hope my differential, my Robertson score. Robertson 1 assist, 1 goal. Okay, I'm happy. Rodrigo also score 1 goal. I'm happy. Da Silva also score 1 goal. I'm happy. This is my differential. The rest almost same lah with the rest of the player.
Sure. I'm more optimistic about Robertson than Rodrigo and especially Da Silva. I think the biggest differential for you will be Kevin De Bruyne, KDB. I mean, it's amazing that you have. Yeah, but he's the only other person. I don't think anybody else has KDB in our league.
Nobody got Rodrigo. Also got people got Da Silva. But a lot of people don't have Robertson. They sell Robertson already.
So yeah, that's why I said I'm a lot more optimistic about Robertson. And I think this week there will be a lot of people who will bring in Rodrigo.
再看. I don't know why Liverpool this week
so.
Injuries, man. Regret. Sometimes really you give a lot of stack to me is good but cannot listen to your feeling already. I regret listen two times to your feeling.
My feeling? What feeling? I didn't give you any of my feelings.
Robertson and Rashford, these two is you tell me one.
Robertson and sure.
And Rashford, these two is you tell me one. The rest I never blame you. The rest is my own fault. I want to challenge. But Robertson and Rashford, I shouldn't listen to you. I don't have Rashford. You see go back to the video, you see my second drop or what? I don't have Robertson what?
The FPL mantra is play your own game. Play your own game. Uncle
No, cannot
play
listen.
your own
I
game.
listen to you. Cannot.
You gotta play your own game, Uncle Hokkien. You can't blame
You
anybody
got your point lah.
for
Then
your
I
choices.
cannot listen. I regret. But okay
You
lah.
gotta
At
play
least
your
I
own
don't do
game.
stupid mistake like you -4 put on bench for 2 weeks.
And this is where inexperience comes into play, right? This is only my first serious FPL season and my second.
Experience, whatever. Fuck. Last season already told you don't do this. I already still do this style of the season.
Uncle Hokkien.
No, I see you do this kind of mistake. Because last season you
chill out, man.
Because
Chill
last
out, man.
season you do this kind of stupid mistake, you cost yourself how much? Extra another about 200 USD.
That's fine. Whatever, man. I'm here for the fun. I'm here for the ups and downs. I'm all about it. No problem.
Fun. For the fun.
Yeah.
This game you kept Martini, fun. Challenge you need if Martin score 2 goals, you sure top of the league already.
Sure.
Don't cap Jesus, don't cap Salah, cap Martin.
Yeah, considered fun. I'm talking about
fun, challenge, fun, gamble, fun. If they never score, it's but if you score, you will be happy for the whole week.
Yeah, but it's not fun for me to cap Martinelli. I mean, for me at least, it wouldn't be a fun thing to do. The fun thing.
Cap Martin until now, people first week cap Martin until now quite good, quite wholesale.
Sure. The fun thing for me this week would be to remove Robertson and Archer and bring in Tony and Malacia. That would be my fun gamble move. But
don't bring I tell you why Man U win Liverpool 1 game, you think what got already then start to buy Liverpool player again fuck you lah.
So as I emphasized, the crucial thing was to bring in Tony. I didn't really care about Malacia or
then stop
Darlow.
Talking about Malacia can or not? Stop talking about Man U player can or not?
Because they're the only 2 4.4s, or I will bring in an Emerson from West Ham. West Ham doesn't have very good fixtures, and he's not starting right away. He's not up to match fitness because he's only 4 million. And I wouldn't bring in Patterson. I'd rather bring in Emerson.
That's why I feel really you see start of the season got one thing until now I still feel is damn right.
Okay.
Salah is a player that is too expensive and cock up the whole FPL valuation, everything. So it's the best to have Salah. Then you save the extra 1 million, you can have a lot of your choice. You can have Tony and have a better defender.
No, I agree with you, man. Salah clogs up a lot of money, and at some point, I think people might move away from him if he continues to sort of. He's not really showing, especially in his performances as well. He's been returning, but it's been quite fortunate his returns. It's really like one chance. Like against Man United, it was like the one chance, and that's it.
When I sell Robertson, I will buy DS already.
Yes. I don't know, man. I don't even know if DS would be a worthy shout at this point. We'll see how it goes. Because Liverpool really
8 million player.
We'll see how they bounce back if they bounce back.
8.1 now. I think 8.1 right. He increased the price right. Let me check.
Did he increase? Really?
8 million. Yeah, 8 million. Still 8 million.
So not many people are bringing him in. I mean, I think it's just the baseline of people who already own him. Because I think moving forward, it will be James Maddison at 8 mil will be an interesting one because Leicester have a very good run of fixtures coming up. So that's there.
Buy Madison.
That's the future. We're talking about.
Support you buy Madison. I won't buy. I support you buy.
I'm just saying.
Then you will know my feeling about the last 2 seasons. Buy Madison.
Oh, that's right. You've been burned by Madison before. That's right.
I'm just saying. Perform when you buy. He don't know go where MIA. He he monitor my FPL.
Yeah, I don't know when you bought him or whatever it is. But what I'm saying, there is a coming up. Leicester will have good fixtures. But that's for later. We're talking about starting from like game week 7 or 9, that kind of thing.
I don't know. For me, next week I won't do. G week 5 is midweek so G week 5 I won't do. I most probably G week 5 I'm not doing any transfer at all.
Okay, we'll see.
Then G week 6 I will see. Maybe I'll bring in Spur player.
Okay, we'll have a look at that. We can leave it at that. So I'm
So
rolling, and
what your captain? Most likely your captain is.
I'm still on. It's still 50-50, man. I'm undecided. I'll like observe team news, see if there's anything that comes up. Obviously, if somebody gets injured, or if Liverpool have another injury to another player, like not Salah, like some other, like if Henderson gets injured or something like that,
I think
maybe
you
I'll be
should
like,
keep
oh,
Salah. Really, I think you should keep Salah. My feeling
because
is
you're
for Salah.
because you're capping Jesus, you want me to cap Salah?
No. You think I like you 咧？小人咧？Because I don't have Salah
Sure.
I want to cap, how to cap? I don't have how to cap.
Sure. I think
I only can cap Haaland and Jesus or KDB.
No.
Then you got Salah. I tell you cap Salah. You say because I got Jesus, I kept Jesus. Because why? They just lose to Man U. No, because they lose to Man U. Then Liverpool is home game. Then sure they gonna fuck on. Sure the dressing room I got a feeling is you see how they lose to Man U. Then a lot of error, the energy is not there. Sure cops, sure fuck them up. The training should reorganize everything. Then you see the second half play versus Man U is a lot better already. It's just a lot better, but Man U defend really quite don't have Maguire.
No, Man United were they were defending as a unit. Martinez had a very, very good game along Varane.
Yes, if not they can score. Then their pass a bit wide, the Liverpool pass a bit
I mean, they had a
bit unlucky. If not
Liverpool had a poor game Liverpool had a poor game. I mean, a big thing was Fabinho didn't start the game.
And
Henderson
one thing I say correct. One thing I say correct. The Darwin still injured.
Yep.
Then Firmino play. But you can see Firmino last game a bit chuan when go to second half a bit fatty.
He had a very bad game, sir. Very bad game.
But I can feel the way they play the second half is coming like the old Liverpool.
Sure.
Last season Liverpool style. So you kept Salah, I think it's good because first thing, last game Fabinho never played.
Yeah.
I think this game Fabinho will play.
No, I mean like you were saying that second half there was a big improvement, and I think that happened when Fabinho came on.
Last
That's
game
when he came on.
Fabinho never played. This game Fabinho will play. The mid will hold better. The mid hold better. The defense will. The attack also will be better.
Oh, absolutely. It was a big mystery why Klopp dropped Fabinho.
Because
That was
I got
a really big mystery.
He's going to score 1 goal, 1 assist.
1 goal, 1 assist. I mean, that's everything you said. I completely agree with you, and that's why I currently have the captaincy on Salah for all those reasons as well. All the same reasons. The only reason why
is like I have no choice. I need to cap Jesus. If you ask me to compare Haaland and Jesus, I want to cap Jesus.
I mean, for me, the
reason why Fulham defend and Crystal Palace defend, of course, Crystal defend, I think more zai lah.
Of course. I mean, the reason why it's a 50-50 for me is, like you said, Jesus, Arsenal, and particularly Jesus, they are on electric form. And so, that wavers the consideration. So that's there. But yeah, I do agree that Haaland...
Like a perfect match for Arsenal. Perfect candidate for Arsenal.
But I do agree that Haaland is number 3 for captaincy. Or maybe KDB is number 3 and Haaland will be 4th, actually, to be honest. But yeah, on that note, that brings us to the end of. Then
I recommend discussion. You get the who also.
For who? Before we bring it in.
Gundogan.
Yeah, Gundogan. That's another option when I downgrade Saka. But that's for later.
Yeah. Then you can get a better striker.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. But anyhow, that brings us to the end of discussions for Game Week 4. Thank you for listening. This is Mushroom Head Potato, and you are...
Okay, me.
And we are FPL Potato Me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.